My name is Greg. I'm the CEO for Overclock and the founder for Akash. Quick show of hands, how many have heard of Akash in this room? How many have used Akash? No one. Hopefully after the one, two, maybe. Okay, cool. Maybe after this talk, I'll give you a short demo on how to use it. Just want to quickly give you an overview as to how we got started. I think most people don't really know. I mean, most people know Akash, but think we are a GPU network, but most people don't really know the backstory. So I want to walk you through real quick. We began really in 2015 as a way to do Kubernetes at scale. Kubernetes launched into 2014 as a container orchestration tool. And Akash was, the original version of Akash was to really make Kubernetes a multi-cloud edge-enabled framework. This is the original designs that we began in 2015, laid the foundation. And here you can actually see a demo of Akash from 2015. You can scan the link. It'll show you a way to scale across about 20 regions in a single click, fully clustered in a single IP namespace using containers, which was considered to be extremely advanced for that time, even for now, as a matter of fact, right? So some of the code we wrote for Akash got very high prominence in the industry, especially in the infrastructure space. As you can see here, I was trending in Golang developer category on GitHub, number 4. I was the only human being in the top 10 here. And little about TensorFlow across all repos on GitHub. And some of the libraries that we wrote are currently in use by NVIDIA, IBM's AWS of the world. In fact, NVIDIA, the Kubernetes driver of NVIDIA uses Akash code. And now we use Kubernetes driver from NVIDIA, so they use our code, we use their code. That's how the foundation of decentralized open source systems are built. That's highly ingrained to our culture at Akash. We're a fully open source company, open source protocol, and we began working on this open source mode about 10 years ago. The reason why initially we were a centralized system, we did not do decentralization. This is in 2015. And we faced challenges, especially at scale, right? So at scale, everything breaks. Your big problem with this model of a centralized control plane is when the control plane goes down, you effectively have orphan clusters that don't really coordinate or don't really can function without a coordination layer, so creating deadlocks. So we ended up creating a decentralized control plane. That's the whole shift from a Kubernetes centralized model to a decentralized network, where if you can decouple the control plane from the resource plane, you can effectively have a shared state control plane. That means a centralized entity is not required for coordination. So that was the main push towards decentralization. This happened in 2016. We heard about Ethereum. We loved Bitcoin, but Ethereum was supposedly this programmable Bitcoin. And we originally began as on Ethereum Frontier. I don't know how many people here worked with Ethereum Frontier. It's one of the earliest smart contract languages. It was the precursor to the current EVM. Of course, that broke when CryptoKitties was launched, and we ended up building our own layer 1. A project called Tendermint came about. This is 2017. We really liked Tendermint because of its Golang, and it had deep parallels to what Kubernetes was, and we ended up implementing Tendermint and launched Akash Network as the first blockchain on Tendermint. Eventually moved to Cosmos SDK, and Akash is the first IBC chain. IBC stands for Inter-Blockchain Communication, making Akash the first interoperable blockchain there is. The white paper we wrote in 2018, published, introduced the notion of a supercloud. Supercloud, the term was coined by Cornell in 2015, but we implemented the supercloud. So Akash is the first implementation of an open source supercloud, right? So a part of that white paper, we also talked about machine learning, how Akash, the primary purpose for building Akash is machine learning, because the costs were very obvious during that time, that the capacity we have on the cloud was not very sufficient. As you can see now with ChatGPT and the GPU constraints is obvious. what the costs for machine learning are, and Akash leading the way, right? So we began really working on GPU support about, I would say, like 6 years ago. Uh, Built lots of test nets, launched in 2018 to 2019. This is before there was incentivization was a common thing. So Akash really was, the way we built the community was through incentives, through a lot of test nets. We were able to recruit developers and validators to run a chain. Mainnet launched in 2020 as the first ephemeral marketplace for containerized workloads. First time ever, first open source cloud. And major upgrades since then. We had IP discovery and persistent storage, and the biggest update we have is accelerated compute. Accelerated compute for GPUs essentially allows for machine learning workloads to effectively run on Akash, thereby creating the first ever general purpose machine learning cloud, right? So Akash today is the only place to get on-demand H100s. And Akash is radically open source. We have about 500 contributors across the globe. Contributing and fully funded on-chain, right? So we have 30 different funding proposals that have been submitted. Anyone with an idea to improve Akash can submit for a funding proposal. The ecosystem is organized into working groups and special interest groups, so that's how the chain is managed. About 7 different companies working on it. Overclock that we work for is a primary contributor and the core contributor, but we have amazing companies now contributing to Akash. And that's the real value, because decentralization, I think, if you remove enough layers, you'll see the biggest risk is not the actual software, but actually people building the software and the roadmap, right? So who sets the roadmap and who delivers the roadmap, all that is done in the open. That's a big part of Akash's decentralization approach. Massive, we had multiple acquisitions, and during the bear market of 2019, in fact, even in 2020 or in 2021, right? So we had several companies that find a pathway, building on Akash, now merged with Overclock Labs. So Akash now, a lot of these clients were, or the provider management systems were written by community members when they couldn't find a way to sustain themselves. We all merged together to Overclock Labs, right? Akash, again, is the only place to get on-demand H100s. H100s are the most advanced chips, one of the most advanced chips made by NVIDIA. And this is primarily used for machine learning workloads. So H100 is available for $1.50, which is unheard of in traditional cloud. Akash is the only place you can get that. This was highlighted in an article by Semaphore last year. This is the first time mainstream press talked positively about crypto. There's a story here, highly recommend you check it out, about a student, a Columbia student, trying to do machine learning, couldn't do it on Amazon because they were priced out or not available, as a matter of fact, could find this weird cloud network, Akash, and actually get hundreds to do trading. Incredible ecosystem of our biggest customers here. News Research, which is a very popular open source machine learning company. They do a model called Hermes, which is very popular, trained on Akash. Thumper, trained on Akash. Venice AI. Venice is Eric Voorhees' new project. Permissionless chat, that's running on Akash. Inference on Akash. Morpheus. We have Brev. Brev is also a very popular platform as a service. Fine-tuning as a service, very popular with machine learning developers using Akash GPUs, and it's growing. On the non-machine learning folks, and we have tons of Web3 companies, all the way from Osmosis of the world and Carlos of the world. A lot of their ecosystem runs on Akash. In fact, even BitTensor, a lot of the miners, in fact, run on Akash. So far, we were able to deliver about 58 million gigabyte hours in memory. That's how we measure success. And it's just been growing. Last quarter was the biggest quarter we had. And the numbers in an uptrend. 186,000 applications delivered till date. And of course, since GPUs were introduced, Akash started taking off. That's proportionate to the capabilities as we added. Key priorities, our primary focus is to remove friction for tinkerers, right? So a big challenge with Akash is it's very powerful, but it's very hard to use. So our current priorities is to remove the friction and enable a seamless, a DigitalOcean-like experience that's coming out in the next 3 months. And of course, we have incentives to improve supply. Doing incentives at a permissionless manner is very hard to do. So that's coming up, and this is the console 2.0. Not to go too deep into it because we're running out of time, but effectively the idea is today it's non-custodial experience is not so great because you do need to get crypto. So a few improvements that we're doing with 2.0 is one-click deploys without crypto, without credit card. Lots of exciting things happening. The roadmap as we keep delivering, the goal is to get to cloud parity. Cloud parity is when we can sufficiently say that you can actually move all your workloads from your Amazons of the world to Akash. We're not there yet. I mean, we're delivering each features based on heavy focus with all the market. And our biggest capabilities, be it reservations or managed backends, I think will put us to the parity. As you can see, the roadmap, this was established in 2019. Nothing has changed. We keep delivering, right? So 2024, some of the stuff you see on the roadmap from 2019 is some of the stuff that actually came out recently, right? So we had GPUs there, we had managed services and whatnot. So it's an old project. It's been around, and it continues to deliver. With that, I am not sure how we're doing on time, but if we have a little time, we can give it a little demo. You do?
Maybe take a question.
Sure, question and demo. The demo will answer a lot of questions generally. Go for it.
If you want to run production workload, how do I know that?
Yeah, so you have something called a decentralized set of auditors that go and audit each provider. Whatever claims the provider may have, the auditors will go and audit that, right? So if a provider says that they are Equinix, the auditor goes and verifies that claim and provides and posts that proof, and you can trust that auditor, and that's how you know who you're talking to. So it's indemnity guarantees more than an optimistic way. Same thing. So reliability, you get a lot of data, right? So you can look at providers here. You can see how reliable they are, how many workloads they deliver, how many workloads they dropped, how many nines they have in terms of reliability. All that is verifiable on chain here. I'll share a quick demo, in fact. So the two ways to use Akash now. So the best, easiest way is using Brev. Brev is a very popular machine learning platform and service I was talking about. You can just simply launch an H100, select Akash here, and deploy, right? So this is for Jupyter Notebooks. So if you're doing any machine learning, Jupyter Notebooks are a very popular way of doing training. Famous with university students. You can see here for $1.95, you can effectively deploy on Akash. While this is deploying, the other not so easy way is using a non-custodial manner, which is the default way. You create something called SDL. SDL is where you define your application, your resources for the application. Here I'm just saying run something called Olama and do this model called Mistral. I'll create a deployment here, do little approval, and if the demo guards are in my favor, it will work. Let's do this. All right, so when I post the workload, providers bid on the workload, so I'll be able to choose the best provider. And you can see a lot of information about a provider. Here I have Foundry staking, which is owned by, Foundry is a company owned by DCG. So you can see the history, the reliability, and a whole lot of information if you click through them. But let's say I select a H100 here for $600 an hour, a month. Click approve, and it should deploy. Yeah, while this is deploying, let's see what happened to our workload here. So, okay, there you go. It says it's deployed. I can go verify that I have the GPU that I requested for. Click on terminal. Here I'm pulling the Ollama Mixtral model. Mixtral is a LLM. This is going to take a while, so I'm probably not going to wait for the entire model checkpoints or waits to download. I also have something running in the meanwhile because, in the interest of time, I deployed this about 2 hours ago. Actually, while I was sitting here, but I'll just hit this for the time being. I have this curl command here. I said, hit this URL, effectively this particular URL, and ask it a question. What is Akash network? It should, all right, there you go. It's streaming the output. It says Akash network is a decentralized cloud computing platform built on Cosmos SDK. So it's real-time inference on H100 under $50 an hour, which is unheard of.